Toge here, and today we're here for a new sort of NPL video called the Around the NPL podcast show thingamajigger, and I'm with two people. One of them will be with me throughout the season, and Brandon, say hello.
Hello.
And then our guest coach for this week is my good friend. Everyone should know him by now.
Wait, who am I?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm Trev the King.
like you had to make it obvious that you're not Trevenant Forest. Guys, make sure you
I
check
am
him
not
out.
Trev
Trevenant
Forest.
Forest.
I am not
What's
Trev
up,
Forest.
guys? Trevenant Forest here.
I hope you edited that out.
I'm not editing anything out. This is No Edits podcast. Hope everyone's
Oh my
doing well
god.
today. So we've basically split up this show into three different segments. The first thing is we're going to be talking about the three most value picks. So basically, the three best Pokemon picked for the round and pick they were picked in. Then we're going to break down a specific set of turns from one of the bigger games from week one. And then finally, we're going to what are we supposed to do last? Oh yeah, we're going to talk about a trade.
Discuss a
Yeah, we're talking
trade.
about a trade that happened right after week one. So I'll just let Brandon take it away with one of the first of our value picks.
The first of our value picks is actually going to be Crawdaunt. It was picked second to last in the draft.
And that's not second to
I think
last round. It's
this,
like literally the second to last Pokemon.
yeah, the second to last Pokemon. I feel like this is really important, especially for this Pokemon because Weavile alone, nothing likes to just come in and take a knockoff from it. But this thing gets adaptability and it's stab, and if you throw a choice band on it, it just decimates a lot of things. There's not really much things that would just like to switch into it either, because you can run multiple sets with it. Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, whatever kind. It definitely has a lot of potential in OU. It definitely doesn't belong to be in UU. And I just believe that this Pokemon all around is the a really good pickup for where it went.
Yeah. And another thing is that it has. I mean, it's obviously kind of a slow Pokemon, but it has enough speed that with investment you can outspeed a majority of walls without without having to Dragon Dance. So you can really break through teams easily.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you can 2 KO defensive Rotom and outspeed it as long as it's not running speed. Anything to add, Trev?
Cron's good. It is pretty frail as well, but yeah, especially on the Spita side. But it's just so strong, and like Swords Stance with Aqua Jet, scary. Even like a Dragon Dance that can come in clutch from time to time if you do need to outspeed something. Although you probably will need at least 2 Dragon Dances to be able to outspeed an opponent's entire team. But still, Groudon for the second of the last pick. I mean, it's never going to be a bad value pick when you pick it down
Yeah,
there.
I think the one thing that might have a problem with it is he also has Mega Gyarados, and they share the same typing, and so having two Water Dark types that are both like setup sweepers, I could see being a problem. But at the same time, since they have the same stabs, you can see a really cool synergy possibility with having Crawdaunt being able to break down the walls that would otherwise be able to stop Mega Gyarados, or at least weaken them to a point where Mega Gyarados could clean up late game with that better speed.
Also, Crota, Maddie has Trick Room on. Very good Trick Room capabilities on his team. So Crawdon is a lot better under Trick Room than Mega Gyarados. So,
Yeah.
like, if you brought Trick Room, like, Crawdon could come and do even more work because then it would outspeed everything
Yeah, it complements his team as a.
I
under Trick
Yeah.
Room.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I agree 100%. If I was him, I wouldn't even bring Mega Gyarados for some of my battles.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Um, I personally think Mega Gyarados is it's basically a dependable Pokemon.
Matchup.
You're either gonna win with it or you're
Yeah,
not.
definitely. And I mean, another thing, Mega Gyarados is also slow enough that in Trick Room it could do some work also, which is kind of cool. That's one thing just about his team in general is that he has the option to go slow with Trick Room, with like Bronzong, Cofagrigus, Amoonguss, T-Tar, but then he also has setup sweepers that can go for speed, Gyarados, Salamence, and then also has a Sand Core with Stoutland and Tyranitar. I just think that's some really cool.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot to run, especially Infernape. Um, up where he picked it at, I don't know. Um,
I mean, it has been an MVP before in the league, so It makes sense.
I mean, I can see it because it is mixed sweeper and it can just put in a lot of work overall.
Yeah. All
Um,
right. So now,
but overall, I think Crowdon is
yeah.
just
Oh no, it's
really
amazing.
good for
I
where he
agree. I
picked
think
it.
it is probably the best pick for where it was picked, and it fits his team perfectly. So our next one, we're gonna move on to the Montreal Cavalions, who also in the last round, but the first pick of the last round, they picked up Slowbro, and I'll just talk about this one myself real quick. But Slowbro, water psychic type, it fits beautifully with his team. His only other water type was Keldeo, which isn't. I mean, Keldeo is okay bulk. It's not frail, I would say, but it's not incredible. And it's actually kind of cool if you did bring Slowbro and Keldeo. You can switch in Keldeo on the dark type attacks. Get that powerful justified boost. Um, but yeah, I just think it fits his team really well. He didn't really have a true bulky water beforehand, which I think is important for teams, and it makes it a usable defensive firewater grass core with like Charizard X, Slowbro, and Superior. But anything else?
For me, it's just Slowbro's ability.
Yeah.
It just makes it a really good, pivot switcher.
Hmm.
If the only thing that I do see a problem with is his only dark resist that I see is Granbull and Mandibuzz, and Mandibuzz
Keldeo
actually
also.
shares the same weaknesses. Well, I
True
mean,
dark resistant.
yeah,
I get
to an
what you're saying.
extent,
Yeah.
yeah. But Mandibuzz and it kind of shares the electric weakness with Slowbro,
Yeah, and
which
most special electric attackers can hurt a Grand Bull easily as well because it's not exactly
yeah,
bulky.
that's the only problem I see with it. But other than that, I
Yeah.
think just having regenerate on your
He
team,
also, for
it
electric
never
attacks, he
hurts.
does have two ground types and a Mega Charizard X. So he
That's
has
true.
two immunities and like. Wait, he actually has three ground types.
Oh, X, good job. I
Yeah,
didn't even
he
see
has
that.
three ground types and two other resistances, or three other resistances. So, I mean, yeah, he has Serp, Ferrothorn, Zardex, then Nidoking, Excadrill, and Gligar. So, I mean, I don't think.
It's just none of those like really want to just come into like a dark pull, so I like knock off or
No, yeah,
anything,
true.
you
I
know?
definitely think there is a couple holes in his defensive core, but I definitely think it does help him a lot, especially, and I think it gives him more than anything else that was there on the board that late too. So,
That's true.
Trev, you got anything else?
I would just like to say that, he does have a decent little defensive core with Slowbro there, with Mandibuzz, Gligar, Slowbro, and
Ferrothorn.
Grambo.
Oh,
I mean, I don't really consider Barathorn a part of a defensive core usually because I just usually consider it there for like hazards. I mean, I guess it can
yeah,
be defensive, but it's just like it doesn't have recovery outside of
Leaf
leftovers
Seed,
and like
Protect.
yeah. So I don't really count it. I mean, it is a
Imagine if it
defensive
did get
mon,
like
but it.
synthesis though.
Oh god.
That'd be so fucking annoying.
It'd be almost as bad as the talent flame we were talking
That's
about
true.
earlier.
All right, so Trev, you can take it away with our last value pick.
All right. So for our last good value pick of the draft, we have Cresselia. What was it in the fifth or sixth
One, two,
round?
three, four. The fifth round of the normal draft, sixth round overall.
Yeah. So for Crest to be in the sixth round overall, still available, the best, in my opinion, probably the best bulky psychic type out there. I mean, you could say Mew is up there because it's so versatile, but like I honestly feel like Crest is better because it's just so bulky that sure it's not very offensive and sure it's not as fast, but like Levitate is really nice. I mean, this thing can take so many hits. It's not even funny. I mean, the only problem is like its recovery option in Moonlight is not as good as like Recover or Soft Boiled or Roost or
Mm-hmm.
something. But it still
Serviceable.
is 8 PP. Yeah, it's still very usable. And like Calm Mind Crest is possibly one of the best Pokemon in the format. Defensive Crest isn't that great, but it can um, serve some use for if you like needed to wall
Yeah, and
something.
Lunar Dance is a cool illusion.
It gets Lunar
Oh,
Dance. It gets screens as well, which is nice. It just has it's got a very big move pool: Ice Beam, Energy Ball, Thunder Wave. just very, very
Yeah.
nice move pool as well as the bulk. And like even though it's not very powerful, like after 5 or 6 call mines, which it's actually really surprising how easily it can set up 3 or 4 call mines and then 5 or 6 call mines. It's like probably the easiest Pokemon to set call mines up with
Yeah.
because you can just set them up with ease as Pokemon are literally doing 2% back to you, and then you can actually sweep a team.
Trev would know.
So yeah. Chris did go 17-5, finished tied for second place in MVP for season 2. So yeah, Crest is very, very good. I love it.
Yeah.
I totally love
And
it. But yeah,
through a game uploaded with it, it's fantastic.
I agree, especially because he has Scizor. Um, I'm not sure about Mega Scizor, how it fares against it, but I know like Choice Banded Scizor, if you just U-turned out, Crest did take a lot of damage, and it was a lot easier to kill that way. But he actually has Scizor, and with his team that I'm looking at now, Lunar Dance on his team would actually be insane because he has so much offensive threats that he can just switch him in without having like a problem, and then just wish or heal him back up when he actually
Yeah.
needs them. So Crest on his team is actually a real threat just because of that. You know, and like you said, it can also do a lot of things. Set up screens, great pivot switch, and crippler. It can do all those things.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so now we're gonna hop over to breaking down a game. I'll pause it for a second. We'll be right back. Resume. All right, so here we are. We're looking at the week 1 matchup of Trev the King and the Atlanta Braviaries versus Cheeseboy628 and the Phoenix Sunkern. So as you can see right here, turn 5 of the match, which if you already watched it, you would know, recognize the situation with Diggersby at +2 on the full health Blissey after it missed a Fire Blast. And just in case you hadn't seen it, the only real important thing that had happened so far, as far as the setup for the game, is Latios here had tricked a Scarf on a Togekiss as it switched in turn 1. But yeah, that's basically it. So just to get right into it, so Cheeseboy just goes for the return right here onto the Blissey, which makes total sense, and I don't think anyone can disagree with that play at all. But right here, I'm just going to pause it, and then Brandon, you can explain what you were saying earlier. I hadn't realized this before, but I found it interesting.
So basically, he starts going for quick attack with +2. I can see his point. Well, and from his point of view, he says that he needed damage on this thing, which is understandable because Togekiss can be annoying, especially that he tricked it a Choice Scarf.
So
But
he didn't want to get flinched because the Scarf,
yeah,
obviously.
but knowing that he probably wasn't going to, I don't know if his, what was his Togekiss actually running? Leftovers, correct?
Before, yeah, it was.
Yeah, so
yeah,
there
yeah.
is, oh,
Oh no, sorry.
so
I
were
was
you
just saying
running
my left.
Aura Sphere on this thing or no?
No, the only attack I had was Air Slash.
So at this point in the game, I would have just switched straight into Magnezone. I wouldn't have cared what move he went for. I knew that he's wall Togekiss because he's running leftovers. I wouldn't have let Diggersby go just the way he did. He basically threw it away just to kill this thing, and that was it. When he had a Magnezone for it, he could have just went into T-Bolt. Nothing on his team really wants to just switch directly into a T-Bolt. Granted that he was Magnet Pull, you guys said he was, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was.
So I definitely wouldn't have sacked Diggersby because he still has use for it. It does have quick attack, you know. It still has the priority.
And
I
it can just kill the Embor and, if not kill the sword, definitely weaken the sword.
Yeah, I agree. This play right here, when I first watched the match, I really didn't understand why he did that. I mean, I guess my only thinking is that hey, I have +2. Why do I need to switch out?
Yeah.
Um, But like I said, he knew that he tricked him to Choice Scarf, so he couldn't have switched moves. I just would have went straight into Magnezone and started spamming Thunderbolt at this point. Or if he wanted to, he could have just Volt switched and went right back into it. Like it wouldn't have been a problem at all.
Yeah, yeah. I think, I definitely agree. I think looking back on it, I mean, obviously hindsight 2020, but I definitely think Magnezone would have been the play because if you go to Mag there on the air slash, you either click T-Bolt and get a big hit off something, and maybe Reuniclus can take you too. In fact, it probably does because he's not analytic. But um, But even then, like even if you just click volt switch, you volt switch out, he goes in Reuniclus, and then you go to Gengar, and you get a kill with Gengar.
I agree. It's either like he either gets damage or he gets momentum.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
it's just a win-win in either way. I just don't see why he would just stay in and just sack his Diggersby the way he did.
I don't know, Trev. Do you have anything else you want to say? Looking at it.
I also did not realize this at the time of the battle. When Brandon brought it up for the first time, right before this video, I was like, wow, I didn't realize that. Yeah, I probably would have lost if he would have preserved Diggersby. I guess one of the reasons he thought about it is maybe he thought I was like Choice Scarf and Boar, and then I had rocks up anyway, so maybe he didn't want to waste his sash for nothing. I don't know. I did still have plenty on my team that did get outsped. My Embor was not choice scarfed and did not have Sucker Punch, so it was outsped by Diggersby
Yeah.
100%.
Also, I mean, to be fair, if he had done the calcs, he would have known that without rocks, sashed plus 2 quick attack can't OHKO Greninja anyway,
Mm-hmm.
which
I
actually
agree.
surprised me. But so like, I mean, obviously Water Shuriken like saved Greninja and let it weaken the Magnet Zone and force Latias to Healing Wish, which was very important. But
Or
but
go ahead. Sorry.
but at the same time, it would have just been a double down there, and I don't think the battle would have been changed too much if had he not had Water Shuriken.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like this play alone actually cost him to sack his Latios. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say that because it just like like I said, going into Magnezone here, you risk nothing. You can even actually just volt switch, go into Latios, drop a Draco,
going to
switch
Gengar.
out,
Yeah,
and go right back into. If he goes back into this thing, then just go right back into Magnezone.
yeah, no, I
Like
agree totally.
I
I
really
mean, I
don't see it.
guess I guess the one thing that did help him out by just killing this thing, sacrificing his Diggersby basically to kill this thing, is that I did have Tailwind on Togekiss. So by killing this, he basically stopped me from going into say like Doublade or
Embor.
Emboar late game and just cleaning up with those mons. Um,
But he also didn't know that. I still think
yeah,
I
I
feel
still
like
think
knowing
once you,
knowing what Cheese knew, I definitely think the
yeah,
Magnezone was the right
yeah,
play.
he
yeah, I
should have
mean,
preserved it no
as
matter what.
soon
But
as you started clicking Air Slash, though, I just would have straight switched right into Magnezone. Like I didn't care what other move you had. You're going for Air Slash. I times
hmm
4 resist, and I gain
hmm
momentum off of whatever I do.
Yeah, I
hmm
agree definitely. All right, so I think we talked about that enough there. So I'm just gonna pause Zoom. All right, so post week one, there was one trade that happened. It was between the Washington Charizards, coached by Slick Rick Nixon, and the San Antonio Swamperts, coached by Dallas Boy 1992. I think Nixon. So the trade with Tornadus T went from San Antonio to Washington, and Heatran went from Washington to um, San Antonio. And I think we all kind of have made the consensus that Nixon definitely got the better end of the deal on that. Not by a ton, but just that from at least what we've seen so far with no games played with them, that's what happened. If you guys want to talk more in detail.
I'd actually say it is by a ton.
Well, that's
Um,
yeah. Go ahead.
Tornadus T is, like I said before we were even discussing it, it's the best pivot switch out there. And then you guys stated that his regenerator core is insane. And then what's wrong with just slapping a choice specs on this thing and spamming Hurricane in the rain? Um,
Yeah,
I really don't see what, like he benefited so much off of this.
especially when
Oh,
like with Heatran's true typings, Dallas already had his types covered there with Rotom and Empoleon respectively, um, which they could possibly leave his team with free agency, which would make sense to me, and that's my prediction of what's going to happen. But I don't know what you think about that, Trev.
uh, yeah, I mean, he really has no reason to keep them like because he might as well pick up like I don't know for Rotom he could pick up like Electros. That would be nice because
Yeah,
I mean
definitely.
he doesn't need Rotom as electric type when it also has a fire type and like Electros is a lot more versatile offensively and like a versatile offensive um, electric type could be really beneficial for Dallas
Yeah,
as well as for Empoleon. I don't really know what Dallas could pick up there to make his team better, either Empoleon or Blastoise, although Dallas did bring Blastoise week 1, I believe, right? Or did he not?
I believe, yeah, he did. He did.
So, like, I would assume that means he likes
Prefers Blastoise, at least in
Blastoise.
certain matchups. He's not afraid to
Although
use it.
Empoleon, you can, rocks are always nice to have. So maybe he keeps Empoleon just for the rocks,
I mean,
and
I don't
maybe
like Empoleon in the format, but...
I don't see why
we
he
all.
would draft Empoleon and Blastoise.
Oh, yeah, then me neither. That's like
I
biggest
think
criticism.
what he was trying to do there was make sure he had lots of hazard removal, but at the same time in back-to-back picks,
that are the same
back-to-back
typing
rounds,
and have similar
they
stats.
literally do the
like,
same thing. They literally do
You're
the
not
same
gonna
thing.
bring
They
both of them
has to
ever.
remove. Yeah.
That's my rule in general in drafting is don't pick two things that you're never gonna bring both of them.
Yeah, because defensively they do some very similar things. Offensively they're a little bit different, but
Empoleon's better, but you're still not gonna really. I mean, I guess you could bring sub Pataya Empoleon or some offensive agility Empoleon with.
Choice Scarf, Water Spout, Blastoise. That's all I say. That's the best
I
set
can
of all
see
time.
Empoleon actually doing a lot better than Blastoise just because he has Gothitelle, but it all depends on how he plays.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll see if he ends up keeping.
That is true because Empoleon gets a knockoff, and it could possibly knock off a Shed Shell for Gothitelle to drop.
That's some heat right there. I mean, he has like so many knockoff users.
That's true. He has
Alakazam, Heatran, Conk, Empoleon.
Heatran doesn't get knockoff.
Or what am I saying? Lando,
he had Torn T.
Conk, Empoleon, and Alakazam.
Yeah, I personally just don't see why he would draft those two, but
yeah, no, I don't know.
And plus,
the fact,
another thing, like for why the Heatran for Torn T trade was a lot better for Nixon, because Torn T does a lot better with the ability. I mean, Gothitelle Torn T, along with Lando I, was a pretty terrifying core.
Being able to U-turn around,
yeah, like you could trap, like for example, like on my team, Torn T can't do anything against Raikou, really, except for like knockoff. But like for example, with Gothitelle being able to trap it and Lando I being able to force it out every time, like it was a very terrifying combination. And then like Heatran and Goth really did. I mean, Heatran can trap things.
Raikou can just full switch out of Goth anyway.
Well, yeah. But like it's gonna take a side shot first
true.
anyway. If it's like Scarf,
which would be the set to run against you.
Yeah. Like
for me personally, like he had both of those, which Crass is probably my best switch into both of them, and they can both just knock off a possible Shed Shell and U-turn.
U-turn out, and then also like Heatran, like it can kind of trap things on its own with Magma Storm, so it's kind of like looks like
if he runs this type Goth. If he runs this, though, I feel like he can't run the Magma Storm Chan.
Ever, yeah.
Why?
He would have to run. I mean, because like I guess
it just doesn't complement the way his.
But like he doesn't really need dual trappers anymore, like because he only really has one thing. Because Mega Alakazam can do everything on its own. It doesn't need like two trappers. It's helpful for Goth, but at the same time, two psychic types. I mean, I guess it could help because now he could bring Magma Storm Heatran instead of Gotham with Alakazam, so like that could help, like Mega Alakazam, Magma Storm Heatran, Lando I. So I guess that kind of helps, but I still think like Nixon won out this trade by a landslide.
I think we all agree on that. See what I did there? Anyways, that's it for this edition of Around the NPL. I had a good time. I hope everyone else did.
This is the worst time I've ever had in my life.
Alright, but anyways, that's it. I'm Toge. I'm here with Trev and Brandon. And at least me and Brandon will see you guys another time. We don't like Trev, so we won't have him back. But
it's okay. I have my minor league power rankings.
That's it. Make sure you don't watch Trev's videos. Alright, bye.